So you still think BYD is just that budget brand making cheap cars for the masses? Yeah, that's exactly what Toyota believed. That's what Volkswagen assumed. That's what every single legacy automaker was betting on when they dismissed China's biggest automotive giant. And that's precisely why every single one of them is now scrambling behind closed doors, rewriting their entire product roadmaps, because they got it catastrophically wrong. Because while the world was busy laughing at BYD, calling them a copycat brand, a budget play, a temporary trend, BYD was quietly doing something that nobody in Detroit, Stuttgart, or Tokyo saw coming. They weren't chasing anyone, they were building the future. And now that future just arrived in the form of their 2026 model lineup. And I promise you, what you're about to see is going to make you question everything you thought you knew about cars, about value, and about who actually controls the automotive industry right now. Here's what the big brands absolutely do not want you to know. BYD's 2026 models are not just competing with the best in the world, they are beating them. We're talking about electric SUVs with numbers that embarrass Range Rover. We're talking about sedans that make the BMW 5 Series look overpriced and outdated. We're talking about performance figures that put vehicles costing 3 times the price to shame. And the prices? The prices are so aggressive, so calculated, so ruthless that legacy dealerships are genuinely starting to panic. There are 2 things I'm going to prove to you today that the industry has been working overtime to hide. First, how BYD engineered vehicles in 2026 that no established brand at any price point can currently match. And second, why this specific lineup doesn't just compete with the market, it destroys it entirely. By the end of this video, you won't just understand why BYD is winning, you'll understand why the game was already over before most people even realized it started. This is not a trend, this is not a moment, this is a complete and total revolution happening right now, right in front of your eyes, and you cannot afford to miss a single second of it. Stay locked in, share this with every car person you know, and let's expose exactly what the automotive industry has been desperately trying to keep quiet. Welcome to Atif Cars, the best car channel on YouTube. Let's get into it. Number 5. BYD Seal U DM-i 2026. We open this list with a vehicle that proves BYD is playing an entirely different game from everyone else. This is the BYD Seal U DM-i 2026, the plug-in hybrid SUV that arrived and immediately made every similarly priced European crossover look like a terrible deal. And listen carefully, because this one is going to hit different. BYD didn't design the Seal U DM-i to be good for the money. They designed it to be genuinely excellent, full stop, no asterisks, no fine print. The kind of vehicle that makes you walk past a Volkswagen Tiguan or a Toyota RAV4 and feel nothing but relief that you didn't settle. Let's start with what matters most to real people. Efficiency. The Seal U DM-i runs on BYD's 5th generation DM hybrid system, and what that system does is almost unfair to the competition. In hybrid mode, this SUV delivers a combined range that stretches beyond 1,200 kilometers on a full tank and a full charge. Over 1,200 kilometers. That number alone ends the conversation for most buyers. You could drive from London to Rome without stopping to refuel and still have range left over. That's not a gimmick, that's engineering at a level most legacy brands won't reach until the end of this decade. On pure electric power, the Seal U DM-i covers over 100 kilometers of zero-emission driving, which means that for the vast majority of your daily commutes, you never touch the petrol engine at all. Your fuel costs essentially collapse, and for those who use this vehicle every single day, that difference is worth thousands of dollars annually. The powertrain combines a 1.5-liter naturally aspirated engine with BYD's in-house electric motors, delivering a total system output of 320 horsepower. Not mind-bending on paper, but in real-world driving conditions, the torque delivery is instant, the acceleration is smooth and authoritative, and the refinement is genuinely on a level that surprises people who sit in it for the first time, expecting a budget experience and finding something closer to a premium European product. BYD also did something intelligent on the design on this generation. The Seal U DM-i carries the brand's ocean aesthetic design language, meaning you get flowing body lines, a muscular stance, sharp LED lighting front and rear, and a silhouette that looks confident without trying too hard. This is not a car that apologizes for existing, it announces itself. Inside, the cabin is where BYD genuinely catches people off guard. A large rotating infotainment display, premium materials across the dashboard, comfortable multi-zone seating, a spacious rear bench that accommodates 3 adults without cruelty, and a panoramic roof that floods the cabin with light. Everything is executed with the kind of attention to detail that was simply not expected from a Chinese brand 5 years ago. The advanced driver assistance package is standard, not optional, and it includes automatic emergency braking, adaptive cruise control, lane centering, blind spot monitoring, and rear cross traffic alert. All of it included, base price. And now, the number that makes legacy executives lose sleep. The BYD Seal U DM-i starts at approximately $23,000 in its home market, with global pricing structured to undercut every direct European and Japanese competitor by a meaningful margin. At that price, with that range, with that technology, with that build quality, the Seal U DM-i doesn't just compete in its segment, it makes the segment feel embarrassed. This is BYD saying loudly and without apology, we are here, we are serious, and we are just getting started.
Number 4. BYD Han L 2026. Now we step up the intensity considerably, because number 4 on this list is a vehicle that genuinely shocked the performance world when BYD first revealed it. This is the BYD Han L 2026, the flagship electric sedan that took everything the original Han did right and then pushed it so far beyond that the original now feels like a prototype. The Han name in China carries the same weight that 7 Series carries in Germany or S-Class carries globally. It represents the absolute summit of what BYD believes a sedan can be, and with the Han L, they decided that summit wasn't high enough, so they built a new mountain entirely. Start with the exterior, and the transformation is immediately striking. The Han L adopts BYD's newest design philosophy: sharper, more dramatic, more self-assured. The front end is dominated by a wide illuminated light bar that stretches the full width of the car. The body is lower, wider, and more aggressively sculpted than its predecessor. The wheel arches are tighter, the roofline more athletic, and the rear features a ducktail spoiler that makes absolutely no attempt to be subtle about this car's intentions. This is a sedan built to move fast and look extraordinary doing it. Now let's talk about what moves it, because this is where BYD completely rewrites the conversation about what an electric sedan can do. The Han L arrives in dual-motor configuration, producing 748 horsepower. 748 horsepower in a production sedan. That's a number that belongs in a supercar brochure, not a family car. But BYD didn't just pile on power without control. The torque vectoring system distributes power between axles with precision that transforms those numbers into real-world capability. 0 to 60 miles per hour happens in 3.5 seconds in the standard version, and in the performance variant, that number drops below 3 seconds. Below 3 seconds in a full-size luxury sedan at a price point that makes Porsche Taycan buyers deeply uncomfortable when they find out. BYD's battery technology underpinning the Han L represents BYD's latest blade battery architecture, engineered for both energy density and structural rigidity. Range exceeds 700 kilometers on the CLTC cycle, and BYD's newest fast charging capability means that you're adding hundreds of kilometers of range in under 15 minutes. The interior of the Han L is where BYD truly demonstrates how far they have traveled from where the world assumed they still were. The cabin is genuinely opulent. Nappa leather throughout, a panoramic glass roof, a massive horizontal infotainment display paired with a separate driver's display, rear seat entertainment screens, executive rear seating with reclining and massage functions, and ambient lighting that transforms the interior into something that genuinely rivals the experience of sitting in a Mercedes E-Class. Genuinely rivals it, not approaches, rivals. The intelligent driving suite on the Han L is equally comprehensive, incorporating BYD's latest generation of driver assistance that manages highway driving, automatic lane changes, urban navigation, and parking with a level of competence that would have seemed futuristic just 3 years ago. Pricing for the Han L sits at approximately $40,000 in China, which when you position it against the Porsche Taycan, the BMW i5, or the Mercedes EQE, creates a value equation so lopsided that it genuinely makes you question whether anyone has a rational reason to buy European electric sedans anymore. BYD built the Han L to be the answer to that question, and it is an absolutely devastating answer. Number 3. BYD Tang EV 2026. We are now inside the top 3 and the stakes just went up again, because number 3 is a vehicle that attacks one of the most fiercely contested segments in the entire automotive market, and it does so with the confidence of a brand that knows exactly what it is bringing to the fight. This is the BYD Tang EV 2026, the full-size 7-seat electric SUV that came to dismantle the belief that premium family transport has to cost a fortune and compromise constantly. BYD built the Tang from a position of deep understanding of what families actually need, not what marketing departments tell families they should want, but what real people with real lives require from a vehicle that costs serious money. And then they delivered all of it, packaged it beautifully, priced it aggressively, and sent it directly at the heart of the Tesla Model X and the Audi Q8 e-tron simultaneously. The design of the 2026 Tang EV is a significant departure from its predecessor and entirely for the better. BYD has given it a bold, commanding front fascia with a wide illuminated grille panel, angular LED headlights, and a stance that communicates size and authority without crossing into aggression. The body is clean and purposeful, with a roofline that maintains genuine headroom for third-row passengers, which is something a surprising number of supposed 7-seat SUVs completely fail to provide. BYD didn't fail. The drivetrain in the Tang EV 2026 produces 523 horsepower through a dual-motor all-wheel drive configuration, and it delivers that power with the silky smoothness that defines BYD's electric powertrains at their best. 0 to 60 time sits at 4.4 seconds for a vehicle that weighs over 2 tons and seats 7 people in genuine comfort. That number should not be possible, but it is. The battery pack offers a range of over 600 kilometers under CLTC conditions, which in real-world combined driving translates to a genuinely anxiety-free ownership experience for families who cover serious weekly distances. Fast charging capability gets you from near empty to 80% in approximately 30 minutes, so long road trips with children in the back seat remain a human experience rather than an endurance exercise. The interior of the Tang EV is the single most powerful argument. Step inside the second row and you are met with captain's chairs that would feel appropriate in a first-class cabin with adjustable recline, individual armrests, climate controls, and screens. The third row, crucially, is genuinely usable for adults on journeys of reasonable length, not just for children on short trips. The entire cabin is wrapped in premium materials, with soft touch surfaces throughout, piano black accents deployed tastefully, and a main display that provides instant intuitive access to navigation, media, climate, and vehicle settings without requiring a technology degree. Intelligent driving assistance on the Tang EV is equally comprehensive, incorporating BYD's latest generation of driver assistance that manages highway driving, automatic lane changes, urban navigation, and parking with a level of competence that would have seemed futuristic just 3 years ago. Pricing for the Tang EV sits at approximately $40,000 in China, which when you position it against the Porsche Taycan, the BMW i5, or the Mercedes EQE, creates a value equation so lopsided that it genuinely makes you question whether anyone has a rational reason to buy European electric sedans anymore.
Number 2. BYD Yangwang U9 2026. We are now at number 2, and I need you to understand something before we go further. What you are about to hear is not an exaggeration. It is not brand enthusiasm talking. The numbers I'm about to give you are real, verified, and documented, and they are going to fundamentally change the way you think about what a Chinese car company is capable of. This is the BYD Yangwang U9 2026, BYD's electric hypercar. Yes, a hypercar from BYD.
And before you dismiss that sentence, let me give you the number that stops every single conversation in its tracks. 0 to 60 miles per hour in 2.36 seconds. 2.36 seconds. That puts the Yangwang U9 in the company of the Bugatti Chiron, the Koenigsegg Jesko, and the Rimac Nevera, cars that cost between $1 and $5 million. The U9 is priced at approximately $300,000, which in hypercar terms is almost impossibly accessible for what it delivers. Let that sit for a moment. BYD built a car that runs with the absolute fastest production vehicles ever created by human beings, and they priced it at a level where it makes Lamborghini look expensive. The powertrain is a quad-motor system, one motor at each wheel, producing a combined output of 1,287 horsepower. Every single wheel receives independent torque vectoring control, meaning the car doesn't just go fast in a straight line, it handles with a precision and balance that the power figure alone doesn't capture. The Dices X suspension system is a technological marvel in its own right, featuring active hydraulic body control that reads the road surface multiple times per second and adjusts each wheel independently to maintain stability, comfort, and performance simultaneously. On track, this system allows the U9 to dance around corners with a composure that would be difficult to believe without witnessing it. BYD even demonstrated the U9 driving on 3 wheels, with the 4th raised off the ground, maintaining stability without drama. That is how advanced this suspension technology is. The design of the U9 is unmistakably purposeful, low-slung, wide, aerodynamically sculpted with active components front and rear that adjust automatically to optimize downforce and drag depending on driving conditions. The carbon fiber body is both beautiful and functional, and the overall aesthetic communicates speed even at a standstill, with a ruthless effectiveness that most dedicated design houses spend decades trying to achieve. Inside, the U9 is focused but not Spartan. The driver-oriented cockpit features premium materials, digital displays providing all necessary information without clutter, and a seating position that immediately communicates what kind of car this is and what it demands from the person behind the wheel. This is a machine built for drivers who are serious about what driving at this level actually means. BYD engineered the Yangwang U9 with a very specific and very deliberate message. They wanted the world to know that the ceiling of Chinese automotive engineering is not below the ceiling of anyone else's. They wanted to build a car that could stand at the very top of the global automotive hierarchy and not just belong there, but dominate there. And they did it. The U9 is proof, concrete, undeniable, and thoroughly shocking proof that when BYD decides to build something extraordinary, extraordinary is not nearly a strong enough word for what they produce. And here we are, number 1. The moment this entire video has been building toward. The BYD vehicle that has the entire luxury SUV market rethinking its future, its pricing, its technology, and its identity. This is the BYD Yangwang U8 2026, the flagship luxury off-road electric SUV that arrived on the global stage and immediately made the Land Rover Defender, the Mercedes G-Wagon, and the Lexus LX look at each other with genuine uncertainty about what comes next. Because the U8 does not just compete in the ultra-luxury SUV segment, it redefines what that segment is supposed to deliver, what it's supposed to cost, and what the person spending serious money on a serious SUV actually deserves to receive. The design of the U8 is immediately commanding in the way that very few vehicles manage to be without resorting to theatrical excess. It is large, upright, and architecturally bold, with a presence that fills a road in the same way that a G-Wagon fills a road, with authority, with purpose, and with the unmistakable communication that this vehicle was not built with compromise as a consideration at any point in its development. The 2026 updates bring sharper LED lighting signatures front and rear, revised body detailing, and interior refinements that address every piece of feedback from the initial launch and then exceed it. Under the bodywork, the U8 operates on a system that should not be possible in production form. The quad-motor configuration delivers 1,100 horsepower, with torque vectoring at each individual wheel.
1,100 horsepower, in an SUV. 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds for a vehicle that weighs over 3 tons. But raw acceleration, remarkable as it is not the reason the U8 is the most important vehicle on this list. The reason is the technology that surrounds it. BYD's DISSP hydraulic suspension system gives the U8 the ability to raise and lower individual corners of the vehicle independently, to adopt a posture that improves off-road approach and departure angles on demand, and to perform what BYD calls the tank turn, a zero-radius rotation where the vehicle spins on its own axis, left wheels moving forward and right wheels moving backwards simultaneously. In a production SUV, available to order right now. The U8 is also a genuine amphibious vehicle. If you drive it into water, it does not sink. The body seals, the motors continue operating, and the vehicle floats while the wheels maintain enough propulsion to maneuver to safety. BYD tested this extensively, and it is a standard production capability, not a specially modified version, not a concept demonstration, standard production capability. The interior of the U8 is where BYD communicates most clearly that this vehicle is an alternative to a G-Wagon or a Cullinan, not merely in capability, but in luxury, in atmosphere, and in the experience of inhabiting the cabin over long distances. Premium leather throughout, massaging front and rear seats, a premium audio system, panoramic lighting, individual climate zones, rear entertainment, and a dashboard architecture that manages to feel both technologically advanced and genuinely warm in a way that many ultra-luxury interiors struggle to achieve. Intelligent driving assistance is the most comprehensive BYD has ever offered, with the U8 incorporating their latest generation of perception hardware and software to deliver highway driving assistance, urban navigation assistance, and off-road assistance modes that help less experienced drivers navigate challenging terrain with confidence rather than anxiety. Pricing for the BYD Yangwang U8 2026 begins at approximately $150,000 in its home market, which against the Mercedes G-Wagon AMG, the Bentley Bentayga, or the Rolls-Royce Cullinan, represents a value proposition so staggering that the luxury automotive establishment genuinely does not have a comfortable answer for it. BYD built the U8 to sit at number 1 on this list, at number 1 in its segment, and at number 1 in the global conversation about what an automotive manufacturer from China is truly capable of building when it removes every limitation and simply builds the best thing it knows how to build. And the result is this: the most technologically advanced, the most capable, the most dramatic, and arguably the most compelling SUV available anywhere in the world at any price in 2026. The U8 is not just BYD's finest moment, it is one of the automotive industry's finest moments, full stop. And if after everything you've seen today you still believe the legacy brands have nothing to worry about, I genuinely don't know what evidence would ever change your mind. So, there you have it, the 5 BYD 2026 models that just destroyed an entire market. If you want to see how other brands are desperately trying to respond, I'm leaving you a video right now that exposes the electric cars shocking the entire world. Click it, watch it, you will not regret it.